Hold up a second.
Why do they always bother me? Go on, will ya?
Hold up a second.
No, no, and no again. Not with the likes of you. No, no, no.
Hold up a second.
Push off, red face. Cyrus, you made it. Come here, lad. How you look good. It's been too long.
If you hadn't retired...
Mercenary life's younger men's work.
Bah, he said.
I prayed that you would get my letter.
It is lucky you were here, Tobias, or I wouldn't have known Azara was in trouble. I have not been in Hammerfell since the...
I know, lad, what you mean.
Anyway, Stros Mackay has no one who could have reached me. Thank you.
I sent the letter some weeks ago, Cyrus. I fear things have gotten worse for your sister since.
How did you know where to reach me, Tobias? Our paths parted so long ago.
I didn't send it to you directly. I knew that damn cat was probably still getting you into trouble, even to this day. Srathra seemed the likely solution, and through the channels I'd heard, he'd made Wayrest his port of late.
Now, he's moved from the throne seekers of the old empire to the lesser lords of High Rock, still playing them to his benefit, raking in the gold on all fronts.
I thought that Septim had solidified the Britons.
As much as the witchmen will, but there is still a lot of money to be made in the drawing of borders before the provincial laws dry completely. Mercenaries are in great demand right now, as are fixers like our cat friend.
Does he still stink so?
To hear.
I think I will go see him when I leave. It's been too long.
How do you mean worse? What more do you know about Azara?
Nothing more than my letter has described, that she is gone and no one knows where. Just a bad feeling that's grown worse with the wait. The governor has not been merciful with the crowns that survived the battle. I hear his dragon's belly is full of the overloud, and that many died later in the burning of the old quarter.
What happened to the old quarter?
The crowns fled ashore there after the battle. It was their last stand. The governor sent his dragon, and it was done.
Was Azara there?
That section of town is closed off. No one I've talked to knows if she was there or not.
Where's the dragon now?
It's disappeared too. Some say it has returned to the imperial province. Others say the governor keeps it well paid and fed in the catacombs below the palace.
Is there another way into the catacombs?
There is the traditional way.
Imagine that I laughed. Secret entrance, maybe?
Maybe. I don't know.
Who in this town knew of Azara?
I did not question many for fear of ill allegiance. so I went to the temple to ask of her. For the brothers of RK are neutral in mortal affairs. There, Brother Niddle told me that Izara had vanished, and set me on the road of writing you. Also, Drekius here knew that she was missing too.
What can you tell me about Izara?
She frequented this establishment much before the battle in Hunding Bay. Less after, of course.
Of course?
She was a fervent one, your nestling, who hated the Empire not in hushed tones. After the occupation, she disappeared for a while.
She disappeared 3 months ago.
No, I'm talking about before that, right after the battle. Many crowns had scattered in the wake then, hiding where they could. I didn't see her for several days following. But then she showed up, needing a drink and rambling, tense on some decision.
What then?
The Imperials came and I let her out through the back. I haven't seen her since.
So the priests are still safe from being conquered.
Be that as it may, the temple is quite empty of priests, save for Brother Niddle. It seems some of their ranks have disappeared also.
I'm noticing a theme. Where did you hear that?
Niddle told me Brother Catral vanished around the same time as your sister, and that they knew each other.
So I can count Brother Niddle as an ally then?
On my word, he was most helpful, but he seemed to be holding something back.
I wouldn't consider paranoia a bad character trait in Stros Mackay these days. Besides, you're so ugly.
That was it. He may open up to you more, being Izara's brother and half as hard to look at.
Tell me about the temple.
The head priest, a Brother Niddle, was very helpful in regards to Izara. He seemed to know her well, and shared my concern over her disappearance. He is worth an interview.
I think I saw it across the plaza. What is the Restless League, Captain?
Where did you hear that name?
They attacked the ship that gave me passage.
Speak of it but in a whisper, and not too often. The governor is searching the surrounding waters for them, and will see them broken and piked if he has his way. The League has survived the death of the Crown Prince and resists his enemies still. But they are few, and going fewer from what I hear, and have been reduced to brigandry these days. Not far from the lives we led not too long ago, eh?
Bold are these brigands, the Restless League, to attack a ship in the very harbor.
They must be running low on provisions to act so desperately. They have been ghosts of late, and this appearance is their first since I've been here.
How do you know about them then?
They ran the Iliac before the war. Our lanes have crossed.
But after the occupation, they've stayed relatively scarce?
Yes, which is why their attack on you is so troubling. No one knew of your impending arrival?
Nobody but Seraphra. Would it matter?
I'm not sure.
We were never brigands when I served under you, Captain. Only mercenaries.
Tell that to those on the other end of the sword, lad. You see more of yourself in the men of the Restless League than you'd care to admit, I'd wager.
They're knaves with their eyes on Providence, nothing more. My sword's never been dressed for diplomacy. Give me gold for a throat, the throat for a slight, and I'm well. Give me a well-paying war.
War is the continuation of politics. That's it, right?
You quote Hunding like a Redguard, Tobias.
Political power grows along the blade of a sword.
Okay.
A drink to the Redguard. I see you still remember your childhood heroes, even if you've dismissed the homeland.
Hunding is a universal wellspring.
Be resolute, fear no sacrifice, and surmount every difficulty to win victory.
See? Anyone could admire that.
Tell me that your Redguard, Hatt, didn't buckle when you saw his statue at port.
Frandar Hunding is a great hero to Hammerfell, I'll admit, and even a little to myself. Hail the great founder and all that nonsense. But it's an ill plan to try and trigger the homeland tug through the invocation of Hunding, Tobias.
Really?
Don't forget, he left his homeland too, and never looked back.
That's because it fell into the sea, you dolt.
What brought you to Stros Mackay?
War and the rumors of war. Every merchant that's near and seaworthy has come to Stros Mackay in the wake of recent events. Either in the service of the provisional governor or to fill the sea lines that Septim has shattered, and that the crowns can run no more. I thought I might profit from a visit, but it has brought naught but sorrow and the sign of darker days. I fear I shall be leaving none too soon.
You are leaving, Captain? When and wherefore?
At sunset, if all goes well, and as for where, whither I will. Stros Mackay is not for me.
But I thought you might help me.
The Imperials have been asking about yours truly around the docks lately. I fear my inquiries into Izara's disappearance have interested them in all the wrong ways. I will help you as I can through the course of this day, but after that I must be done with it. I'm too old for an Imperial prison.
It won't come to that.
You haven't been here long enough. My ship is ready to leave at sundown, but don't worry. I'll be here until then to help you along if you need it. A lot can transpire in a day. We will see each other again.
Since when were you a merchant, Tobias?
The fight left me after our little foray into Morrowind. It's been sweet commerce ever since.
I've not returned to Morrowind since then.
Who'd want to? All that ash and fire. Those dark elves can keep their curse.
Don't forget the bugs.
Which reminds me, Governor Richten has a little sting of his own from those parts. His lieutenant is a dark elf. Watch out for that one. Always close by the governor, hiding in his shadow.
Which means he's got plenty of room to maneuver.
I'd welcome another chance at the Dark Elves. I've still got scars.
Watch yourself.
Is it safe to talk here?
As safe as any, and the ale is good. Drekius can be trusted as much as any walking lizard can be. It might get a little rough with all the forebears around, but I'll be here until I leave Stros Mackay.
The barkeep is a long way from Black Marsh, isn't he?
That's right, and it's kept me good company in my wait for you. Trust it well after I leave, for it knows this island and all who live here. But don't bother asking about the Eye, because I already have.
Drekius knows of the Eye of Argonia?
It's got the skin for it, wouldn't you say? I'll find the thing yet, and before you, if I get my way.
Another soft skin with dreams of the priceless king's jewel of ancient Black Marsh. You look this sort too, all sword and swagger. Tobias, he describes you well.
Aye, but Cyrus here must save that adventure for another day. He's got a sister to find. I've told him that you will help him after I depart, lizard. So mark me well.
Whatever you say.
Do you think Azara chose sides in the Civil War, and that is why she has disappeared?
Your family's always been partisan, lad, since your early days in Sentinel. I ventured she still held her old allegiances, even if you haven't. Few crowns in Stros Mackay survived the battle with the Imperials, but I know Azara was one of them.
How?
Hearing of the defeat of the crowns caused me much concern. When I arrived, I searched for word of Azara's safety. The only ones here who knew of her said that she had disappeared shortly after the Imperials landed.
I see the harbor is already arrayed in the flags of the Emperor. and that his men walk the streets as if born to them.
Stros-Makai's a dangerous port these days. There's an empire to be built, you know, and Tiber Septim shows no sign of slowing its increase from here to the edge of the world map. High Rock's border kings bent knee to the Cyrodiil long ago. Even my father's fair Skyrim is adorned with flags of red dragons and foreign men. We are entering a new era, I fear, with Septim's name writ long and wide upon it.
Any kind words for our new emperor?
He is good at what he does, and sees the holes lesser men leave wide. No offense to your Prince Ator, of course.
Hammerfell's problems are her own. I was only asking if Septim was the tyrant they say.
Of course he is. Tyranny means never having to say you're sorry. But Izara's fate has nothing to do with the Emperor, I'm sure. Look to the provisional governor if you suspect imperial entanglements. He's the real tyrant around here. How long were you in Wayrest, Cyrus?
Long enough to piss off the locals.
A bay ride from Sentinel. Close enough for you to hear about Prince Ator, then.
Yes, of late the criers are tripping over each other. There's so much to report of the blistery south.
And you've listened to it all, I'm sure.
Fine, recount all word of Prince Ator that I have shamefully ignored.
When his father died and the capital of Sentinel was taken over by the Forebears, the prince fled back here to his ancestral home of Stros-Makai. After rallying the crowns to his stead, he made for the throne again and had it near. That's when the Empire came. Through a Forebear truce which no one expected. Again the prince was forced back to Stros-Makai, which he died defending. He will not long be forgotten. Lizard, another drink?
What were the terms of the Forebear truce?
Originally, the Empire was to lend its armies to the Forebear cause in return for a swath of holding titles along the southeast border. But when Baron Volag disappeared during the arse end of the war, all bets were off. A new treaty was formed, which garrisoned those imperial armies in the cities.
Until such a time as the native rulership can see fit to reinstate itself safely on its rightful throne.
Something like that, yes, sir. Septim's no Cyrodiil, from what I've heard, though he ruled their remnants and rebuilt their empire. He's something worse, or greater, depending on your disposition to the center, son.
If he has no blood tie to the Cyrodiil throne, then how did he make it his?
Come on! For the last 400 years, the petty kings of Cyrodiil have been squabbling over the title of Emperor, all claiming forebearance. Imperial throne's blood's thinner than a sea dream and half as wet. Tiber Septim took the throne as he took your peoples.
Hail the new conqueror.
There's a good little subject.
You used to hire out to those petty kings, did you not?
20 years ago, maybe, when the whole heart of Tamriel was in chaos. I can admire Tiber Septim insofar that he has managed to consolidate the rags and tatters that bickered there then.
No empire is a good thing, Captain.
There's a Redguard for you.
So the Nord kings have submitted to Tiber Septim too.
They do not worry over much. They have outlasted empires before, and this conquest will be no different. Hammerfell has been the bloodiest invasion of current record, and by comparison, Skyrim's occupation seemed like a ballet.
Do you know if Azara fought in the Battle of Stros-Makai?
My investigations were limited, I'll admit. If she fought, I can't say. But I would guess that she did. The battle was the penultra of the crowns, and all who subscribed to the name no doubt took up arms. While most of them were slain at sea, others have been taken prisoner by the governor.
Tell me about the provisional governor, Captain.
When I arrived, his soldiers showed me the finer points of Richten's new docking tax, and scoured my ship for leaguesmen. I must say he's a bit of an asshole. You'd better watch yourself around him.
So why aren't you in jail?
Meaning why aren't said soldiers in little boxes at the foot of the palace gate? Because I didn't come to port to get myself in trouble, but to get your sister out.
Should I look into seeing this governor then?
That's what I'd look, laddie.
Could she be in jail?
I haven't exactly knocked on the door to find out. That's your job now. But I know the jail's off limits to non-Imperials. Now, read no visitors whatsoever.
We'll see about that. Imperial expansion has been feared for years. Why wasn't Hammerfell better prepared?
Factional squabbles, divided councils, miscalculations. Crowns lost heart when they lost the capital. Forebears lost their heads completely when they welcomed the Empire's friendship and aid.
So the Empire played the forebears pretty well, eh?
What else is a visionary with an open invitation to do? The forebears are having futile second thoughts now, no doubt. Probably why they're so bitter and driven to bar brawls.
What of the crowns?
Not too many left around here. The few that are don't admit it to just anyone.
How have the forebears fared under Septim's rule?
The throne of Sentinel is kept warm by another Imperial governor. That should be indication enough.
How is the city of Sentinel? I never returned.
For long my men plied the Iliac, and Sentinel was along the run. That's how I came to know that Izara moved from there to here. I kept up with her for your sake. If even it were a dream to think anything would come of it. When Volag's purge ignited through the north, I went there seeking to help her. But she was already gone. Later, I learned she'd come to Stros Mackay.
What was Volag's purge?
When Thasad died, Baron Volag led the forebears into an uprising for control of the capital. All crowns were forced to leave Sentinel after that first massacre. Your sister was among those that followed the prince here to Stros Mackay to plan the counterattack. I swear, Cyrus, are you always such a lame brain when it comes to word of recent Hammerfell?
I've come to cultivate a certain indifference about the homeland.
And this is a good thing?
So his character is in question. Again.
She was your sister, Cyrus.
I was probably miles away.
A proximity often and on purpose, I'd suspect. Yeah, well, you're here now.
Thasad II, so storied in song. It was unwise to invest the Republic on one man.
The forebears are over there, Cyrus, if you want the company to match the sentiment.
No, it's just... I mean, he was dying when I was still a young kid. We Redguards were only waiting for it to happen. My father kept his profession in one hand and a whetstone in the other. We knew that civil war would come. If Thasad was so great, why didn't he do more in his life to protect the kingdom after his death?
Some things have to be left for the son.
The head of the forebears is a subject of the Empire now.
Or subject to the Empire's execution from spake of it. He disappeared the day Stros Mackay was taken, and Sentinel lay in a similar state. Provisional governors rule both cities now.
I'll be back. If you're not here, thanks for everything. And good luck.
Just find your sister and get out of here. And send word through Stratra. Go on, you'll do fine.
What will it be, traveler?